Today, New York is one of the most powerful cities in the world, a global center of finance, culture, technology, and influence. Millions of people move through its streets every single day, and its skyline defines modern civilization. But this city did not always exist. If we go back hundreds of years, none of this was here. No skyscrapers, no bridges, no streets, no glowing lights at night. Only raw, untouched nature stretched across the land we now call New York. And the most surprising part is this: Manhattan was once one of the most peaceful natural landscapes in North America. It was called Mannahatta, a word meaning island of many hills, a place covered in thick forests, rolling landscapes, rivers, wetlands, and endless wildlife. Every part of this land was alive, moving, breathing, untouched for thousands of years. There were no cities here, no machines, no noise of industry, only wind, water, and life in its purest form. And long before modern history began, this land was already home to a people deeply connected to it. The first known inhabitants were the Lenape. They did not see the land as something to own. They saw it as something to live with, something sacred, something alive. Their villages were built carefully near rivers and forests, where water, food, and shelter were naturally available. Every location had meaning. Every movement followed nature's rhythm. They hunted in forests filled with deer and birds. They fished in rivers that stretched across the island. They gathered plants, berries, and food in a way that never broke the balance of the ecosystem. For the Lenape, rivers were not barriers, they were highways. Canoes moved silently across the water, connecting villages and families. Travel was natural, slow, and deeply connected to the environment around them. Children grew up not with machines or books, but with the land itself as their teacher. They learned how to track animals, how to read the wind, how to understand seasons, and how to survive in harmony with nature. At night, fire became the center of their world. Around it, families gathered. Stories were told. Knowledge was passed down. History lived not in writing, but in memory, voice, and tradition. For centuries, Manhattan existed like this. No empires, no industrialization, no global trade. Just a balanced world shaped by nature and the people who understood it. But history does not stay still. Everything began to change in 1609. A ship appeared on the horizon, something the people of this land had never seen before. Massive wooden vessels with towering sails approached the island. European explorers had arrived, and with that moment, two completely different worlds collided for the first time. One world was ancient, natural, and deeply spiritual. The other was driven by expansion, trade, and exploration. That single moment marked the beginning of a transformation that would permanently reshape Manhattan. Soon after, the Dutch established a settlement here called New Amsterdam. At first, it was small, just a trading post surrounded by nature. But slowly, ships began arriving more often. Merchants came, buildings were constructed, trade expanded. The island was no longer isolated. Manhattan was beginning to change. In 1664, everything shifted again. The British took control of the settlement and renamed it New York. From that point forward, change did not slow down, it accelerated. What was once forest and riverland was now becoming a growing colonial city. Then came the 1800s, a century of massive transformation. Millions of people arrived in New York, escaping poverty, seeking opportunity, and chasing the promise of a new life. The population exploded. The city expanded in every direction. New York was no longer just a settlement, it was becoming a machine of growth. Factories rose from the ground. Ports became some of the busiest in the world. Railroads connected everything together. Smoke filled the sky. Steel replaced wood. Movement never stopped. And for the first time in history, Manhattan began to look like a modern city. By the 20th century, the skyline changed forever. Buildings started rising higher and higher, breaking every limit of what humans thought was possible. Manhattan became a vertical city, where life moved upward instead of outward. It became a symbol of ambition, progress, and human achievement. And today, New York stands as one of the most important cities in the world. More than 8 million people live here. It is a global center of finance, media, culture, and innovation. But beneath all of this, beneath the concrete, steel, and lights, the past still exists. The land remembers what it once was. Every street, every building, every corner of Manhattan sits on top of a forgotten world, from untouched wilderness to the most powerful city on Earth. This transformation is one of the greatest stories in human history, but it is.